What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing great. And let's get into today's story. Both our parents in their 50s have abandoned me, 21 male, and my sister, 11 female. How do I give her peace of mind that I won't abandon her? Our parents divorced 5 years ago, and after that, we were basically passed around between them as neither of them were keen to have us around, especially since they both remarried soon and had their new families and new stepkids to worry about. When I became 18, my sister was 8, they told me that I need to take care of her by myself now. In reality, I always had taken care of her since they never spent time with her. It was clear that they didn't want to be involved anymore. They transferred her full custody to me and gave us money every month so we wouldn't bother them. So that's how it's been for the past 3 years. I live with my sister, and I'm doing my best to make sure she has a stable home, gets enough attention, feels loved, and is growing up well and has everything she needs. Unlike them, I don't see her as a burden, and I really love her and want the best for her. In these past 3 years, our parents haven't made any real efforts to even bother checking up on her. The plan was that I collect checks from them every month, but that's the end of their involvement in our lives. In the first few months, I used to take her with me when I collected the checks, but they both were so indifferent and unfriendly towards us that it always made her sad. The last time I took her with me, it was right before her birthday, and I was planning a small party for her with her friends, and she was very excited. She asked our mom to come and received a no answer. She didn't even bother getting her a gift. She only wrote an extra $100 on the check and told me to get a gift for her on her behalf. My sister started crying as soon as we left. The next day, the same thing happened when we went to my father's place, and he didn't even say that. He just declined to come. I was angry at them, and that was the last time my sister came to see them. That was the last time she saw them. They never come around to see her. I only see them when I go to get the checks, and they don't even invite me in anymore. They have it ready when I arrive, and they just hand it over and say goodbye. My sister has been dealing with abandonment issues as a result. She rightly feels that our parents traded her for their new partners and kids, and she is afraid that the same thing might happen to her with me, that I might go off with some other people and leave her alone. I always reassure her that this will never happen, and I'm always there for her, that we will live together until she completely grows up and I'm going to take care of her, but I don't think this has completely taken away her fears. What should I do now to help her? I want her to feel safe and loved and stable without any fear of losing me. TLDR. Parents abandoned my sister when they remarried, and she only has me now. She's terrified that I might leave her as well, and she will be left all alone. How can I give her the peace of mind that I will always be there for her? And the final update. So besides reassuring her verbally continuously, making sure we do a lot of things together and being a good brother, I needed to get her into therapy, and I found the right therapist for her. She's a psychologist who specializes in children's issues after divorce. The only problem was money. I called both my parents and told them that I need to talk to them separately and told them that we need more money as she needs to get therapy and I want to do nice things for her and that's the least they owe us after everything. They were hesitant but eventually agreed. I'm now getting $500 more each month from my mother and $750 more from father, and that is a real help. When we have extra money from what my parents give us, I put it in a college fund for her, and this extra money means that not only she can see a great therapist, but now I can save more for her. I also talked to a lawyer, as a lot of you suggested, to make sure we're getting the right amount of money, and it seems that we do. Of course, we could go on and get them to court and make everything happen through the legal system, but that has the risk of them choosing to end my guardianship and get my sister back, which is not the right thing for her. She's much safer and better off here than in their hands. Obviously, the option is on the table if they decide to stop paying or reduce the amount. And a couple of you suggested we do something symbolic, which I liked a lot. So I bought two matching necklaces and had them engrave our names on them, and told my sister that we're going to wear these to remind ourselves that each of us will always be there for the other, and we can count on each other. We've already been to 2 sessions of therapy, and I think things are good. The necklace has worked, and she doesn't even want to take it off when she takes a shower. TLDR. I got her into therapy and got parents to pay for it. We're doing fun things together more often, and we bought matching necklaces with our names engraved to remind ourselves that we'll always be there for each other. You're incredibly mature for your age. You are an amazing big brother. She's lucky to have you. Make sure she knows you'll always be there for her. Wishing both of you good luck. And next, the second story, titled, Me, 19 male, my sister, 21 female, found a video of our mom. She thinks it's of her cheating, but I think it might not be. We can't agree what to do with it. Now to the main story. My sister found this video on my mom's laptop. I think she was using her laptop for some school stuff and she must have gone snooping through her personal files. She found this video. It's from a few years ago according to the date of the file. It's definitely our mom in the video, and it looks to be in some hotel room. There's definitely a man in the video, but he's holding the camera and we don't see his face or hear his voice. I don't want to go into any detail, but it's basically a striptease sex tape filmed by the man. So while our mom is clearly identifiable, I can't tell exactly who the man is. I first got angry at my sister for showing it to me. I told her this is gross. I don't want to see that. She told me she thinks it could mean our mom is cheating on our dad and we should at least present the information to our dad. I told her it's very likely it's him in the photo. You can see the man's hands in a few shots. I think it's my dad. She seems to think it's not him. I told her if we show it to them and it is him, not only will we be embarrassed, but they would be mad at her for snooping. She was like, "Why do you care? I'm the one who did the snooping, so only I'll get in trouble. I'll cover you if they try to get mad at you." I told her there has to be a more sensitive way of approaching the situation, instead of just bombarding our parents with, "Hey, we saw your sex tape, which could either be with you or mom's secret lover, and we should consider the fallout." However, she seems pretty adamant that she just wants to show them she thinks it's the safest option, since if she was cheating, she gets exposed, but if it was just dad, then no harm done. We can't agree on what to do, and I have a feeling she might show it to them regardless of what I feel, but if I push hard enough, I might convince her of an alternative solution. Any ideas on what we should do? Man, if I ever found out something like that about my parents, I'd be traumatized. An update, things don't go so well. Yeah, things didn't go so well, unfortunately. I kept arguing with my sister. I told her if she's so certain they're cheating, the least we could do is ask dad first if he knows about the tape, but not mention that we've seen it. She was determined that it was cheating. Based on the hands and the feet, she was like, those definitely aren't dad's. I told her she was creepy. If that was them in the video, and God knows how many times she's watched it, she was basically watching a video of our mother making love with our dad. Even if it wasn't our dad, it's still effing gross. She didn't care. I told her if I couldn't stop her, she should at least leave me out of it. I want nothing to do with it. She went nuclear. She went and told them everything and embarrassed the F out of herself. Turned out her little detective work was way off. It was dad in the video. Our dad was angry, but mostly bewildered, but he just laughed it off and got over it. Our mom, however, didn't take it so well. She had a panic attack. She went nuts. She was like, "What the hell is wrong with you kids?" I tried to stay out of it, but my sister dragged me into it and named me as her accomplice, even though I had warned her against it. Our mom was so hurt and upset, not only that her daughter would so brazenly accuse her of cheating, but that her children had watched an explicit sex tape of her. She was really traumatized. She couldn't take it anymore. She got up and left to her parents' house where she's been there for a whole day to recuperate. She only called our dad to speak to. She won't speak to us. Our dad told us to just give it time until she's feeling better. I knew it was going to end that way, and she watched the video of her parents multiple times. Damn, she's crazy. And next, the third story, titled, "Am I the a-hole for moving on with my ex after my best friend told me she didn't want me?" I, 24 male, have been friends with Chloe, 23 female, for 5 years. She's always been there for me. So when she planned to visit me a few months ago, I was excited to finally hang out. Before the trip, she admitted she'd had feelings for me for 3 years. We ended up hooking up while she was here. By the end of the visit, I told her I had real feelings and wanted to see if something could come from it. She told me no, she just wanted to stay friends. I was hurt, but I respected it. A month later, she came back saying she couldn't hide it anymore and wanted to try. We started talking, but it never became a relationship. She was going through family drama, lost her job, bouncing between couches. I even asked if being with me was too much for her right now, and she agreed it was better to stay friends. So I let it go again. I had even planned a trip to fly out and see her for my birthday to see if she was serious, but she canceled on me. Twice. Meanwhile, she was chatting with her old flings, which I didn't care about since she told me we were just friends. Not long after, my ex, 22 female, reached out. We'd ended on okay terms, so we started talking. I told her I wanted to take things slow. Out of respect, I told Chloe immediately. She got mad, ghosted me, then came back still sending flirty messages. At one point, after saying she didn't want a relationship, she texted, "But I miss you in your bed," so I moved forward with my ex. When I mentioned spending time with my ex and her family, Chloe exploded. She accused me of leading her on, said I was choosing someone else over her, then cut me off. The next day, she was reposting TikToks like, "When he makes you cry like this, and men ain't shit." The thing is, I never lied, never hid anything. I asked her multiple times to clarify what she wanted, and she told me twice she didn't want a relationship. I respected her decision every time. She's the one who flip-flopped, canceled trips, flirted after telling me no, and then got mad when I moved on. So am I the a-hole for moving on after she made it clear she didn't want me? Edit. While I totally respect your perspective here, I think you might have misunderstood the timeline. Once my ex and I decided to start taking things slow, Chloe was no longer in the picture. Any contact from her after that was her reaching out. I either ignored it, asked why she was contacting me, or heard her out and then respectfully made my stance clear. That's not entertaining, at least not in my book. And just to be clear, the little bit of flirting with Chloe happened before my ex and I agreed to explore things again. Since then, I haven't crossed that line, because to me that would be wrong. My ex knows about the fallout with Chloe, and Chloe knows I've moved on, as I've told her. And now to the update. A lot of you said Chloe just wanted attention and to keep me as a backup, and after this week, I can't even argue with that. Here's what went down. A few days ago, I'm on my lunch break, literally driving to Culver's, when Chloe called me out of nowhere. I let it go to voicemail. Against my better judgment, I called back and asked if she meant to. She said no. She was actually trying to call another friend whose name is right next to mine. I said no problem. She wished me a good day, and that was that. Except it wasn't. About an hour later, she calls again. I ignore it. Text, "Another accident?" She doesn't answer, but then calls me again. This time, I picked up. She tells me, "I don't like this game. I know I probably hurt your feelings. I'm not mad at you, just the situation." I said, yeah, I was hurt. She threw away a 5-year friendship over a mess she created and strung me through. She said she understood, then hung up because her mom was calling. Not even 5 minutes later, she texts me, says she can't call again but can text, then drops this bomb. When I said I loved you, it wasn't in a friend way. I reminded her that I told her multiple times I had feelings too, and she's the one who wanted things back to normal, and later told me a relationship was too much. I laid it out. She rejected me twice. Honestly, 3 times if you count when I asked straight up if we were just friends and she said yes, about a month and a half ago. Her reply? "I bet you have a whole new girl and never even liked me in the first place." Not true at the time, and I did have feelings for her truly. So I asked, how can she be mad at me for moving on when I was literally doing what she asked me to do? I told her if anything, we should have kept it at a friendship level to avoid all the mixed signals. She fires back, "I don't want to be friends." I asked why she reached out at all. Her answer, "Because I didn't know if you would ever give it a chance." So I spelled it out clearly. I did give it a chance, multiple times. She said no. Thrice told me she didn't want a relationship. Twice canceled trips I planned to see her. At that point, I had no choice but to move on. I told her my decision is final. I've moved on and I wished her the best. She replied, "Please no." But I stood firm, told her I respect her. I wish her well, but I'm not going back. So, yeah. This confirmed everything you guys warned me about. She wanted me as an option, not as a choice. And the second I stopped playing along, she couldn't handle it. People like Chloe only want you when they can't have you, or when you stop wanting them. They like to play games like that. And now to the fourth story titled, "I Look Exactly Like My Fiancé's Mother." I, 24 female, have been with my fiancé, 28 male, for the past 5 years and engaged for the past year. He's the love of my life and we get along very well. He's always has a strange adoration for his mother. He usually talks about how smart, how kind, and funny she is. I always thought it was sweet because I don't have a good relationship with my mother. He often said I have the same personality type as his mother too. We're both INTPs. During our whole relationship, I hadn't met his family. We live in Germany, they're in the US. We're currently visiting them now. When I met her, I really liked her. She's 64, so I didn't notice our resemblance at first. But when I looked at her wedding photos with my fiancé's father, I really looked like I could be her daughter. Even my fiancé's father pointed it out. We both have curly ginger hair and green eyes, and we both have bangs. We are a similar height and build. It's so eerie. If you compare a photo of her in her youth with me, we look like we could be sisters. His mother is also a fan of red lipstick. Guess what color the lipsticks he buys me are red? I asked a few friends what they thought, and they said this obviously can't be a coincidence. I decided to speak to him before bed yesterday, and I pointed out how similar I was to his mother. He shrugged and said people usually choose partners who are similar to their parents. I didn't believe him, but he showed me some articles on Google. I tried to let it go today, but I met some more of his relatives, and everyone is talking about how his mother and I look like we're related. His mother finds this whole thing cute and has said, "My son misses me so much when he's in Germany that he found my look-alike." How do I approach a conversation with him about this again? Or am I just overreacting and should I let it go? I would love some advice. And now to the update. I posted 5 days ago asking for advice because I realized that my fiance's mother and I look extremely similar. Most of the advice told me to change my appearance, which is what I did. I managed to find a very nice wig. It has straight brown hair. His sister-in-law installed it for me. I've had it on for 3 days now, and my fiance hates it. He's pissed at his sister-in-law for installing it too. I made sure it was a brown that suited me because I am very pale and everyone has complimented it but him. Even his mother said it was beautiful. My fiance keeps saying it doesn't suit my complexion and that my ginger hair is much better. I made up a lie and told him that my hair couldn't deal with the water in the US. Germany has hard water, but the city my fiance's family lives in has even harder water, miraculously. So I said my scalp was irritated. He bought a water filter. He refused to have sex with me because I didn't look like myself to him. I also stopped wearing the red lipstick. I wore a pink one instead. And all he did was ask if I had a new favorite. I told him that red was his favorite, not mine, and he agreed with that. Yesterday, I removed the wig so I could wash my hair, and he walked in on me installing it again. He said that I shouldn't put it back on because it looked terrible, and I rolled my eyes and laughed at him. After that, we had a conversation. He said that I looked so much better ginger, and he wanted to have sex because we hadn't done it in a few days because of the wig. I told him I didn't know how hair attached to a net prevented us from being intimate. I then asked him why he called me mommy in bed. Disclaimer: I do not enjoy being called mommy in bed, but I dealt with it because I love him. He gave the same response as usual and said it was a kink. I said I didn't like it, and he said that he wouldn't do it anymore, but he was disappointed because as his partner, I should be supportive of his kinks. I said that I'd support others, but not this one. I then told him I found it extremely uncomfortable that I look exactly like his mother. I said I'd understand if we were both gingers, but we look so similar people have mistaken us for being mother and daughter. He immediately got defensive and said that it was just a coincidence. I told him that with the mommy kink, it was starting to look intentional. He then finally came clean. He said that he did decide to get to know me because I look like his mother. He said that he first took an interest in me, non-romantic, because the resemblance was uncanny and he was intrigued by it. Then he said he fell in love with my personality, and that's why he decided to ask me out. So he wouldn't have asked me out solely based on my resemblance to his mother. I asked about the red lipstick, and he said that he liked red lipstick, and he asked his mother for a recommendation, so I guess that checks out. I then asked about him gearing me towards hobbies that his mother has. I like to crochet and bake because he first introduced me to those hobbies, and I found out those are his mother's main hobbies. He said that baking and crocheting are nurturing hobbies, and he wanted a nurturing partner. And since mothers are usually very nurturing, he wanted a partner with his mother's qualities. And about the wig, he just said he preferred my natural hair. I honestly don't know how to feel about all of this. On one hand, this is weird as F. On the other hand, his explanations kinda do make sense. I saw a comment on my old post from a ginger saying that she's dated a lot of men with ginger mothers, so I don't know if this means that this is normal or extremely abnormal. He's an amazing and loving partner outside of this, so I'm thinking of getting us couples counseling and postponing our wedding plans. One good thing that has come out of this is that at least I know I look amazing with brown hair too. I would like some more advice and thoughts on this. I am still in the US with his family and I still have my wig on. And let's read the top comments. Someone said, "Honey, he only gets aroused when you look like his mom." Another user asked, "How are you not on the first plane back to Germany?" OP replied with, "I looked at tickets and they're very expensive. I'm going to call the airline to see if my existing ticket can be brought forward." Another user said, "Call the closest German embassy and ask for help. You are trapped in an abusive situation. There's probably a protocol for this." OP replied with, "I'll see if I can get put on standby. My fiance paid for my original ticket, so the money loss is his problem. I haven't been threatened physically or abused except some gaslighting, so I don't think the embassy would care." Later, OP added an edit. "I'm currently looking for a flight back to Germany. My narcissistic mom is paying for my ticket, so I've just opened a whole new can of worms, but I'll be paying her back as soon as I get my next paycheck. I've packed up most of my things. Wish me luck on finding a direct flight." And final comment, "Did you end up breaking up with your boyfriend? Or what's gonna happen?" OP replied with, "I told him that I'm going back to Germany so I can have time to think. I'm probably going to dump him when he comes back." I was like, what the F? He calls her mommy? That's messed up. Dude's got some serious issues, maybe even emotional incest going on. And with that, we will wrap up today's video. Dear viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out. See you next time. Bye-bye.